These are cases where an individual or party will come out of the woodwork sometimes. After the death of a settlor who might have not made provision for them in the will, or where there isn't a will and they haven't benefited through the inheritance provisions. Very often there is a very significant imbalance in power. You have got a claimant who is in a state of poverty, unrepresented very often, and there's lots of allegations and stories behind, how they would have been supported or maintained or supported by the settlor, and why it is right and just that they should receive some money from the person who has actually benefited from the will or from the intestacy provisions. In the case I was working recently, the one party, the third wife as it were, who had inherited a vast amount of money from her husband, the husband had a relationship with his children that he had to somewhat hide, it seemed, from that party. It turned out that one of the children really reached quite a difficult stage in her life. She put a claim in, and this mediation was around, and of course supported by a CFA. So you've got the lawyers and counsel who are all have skin in the game because it's no win, no fee. That also puts a big pressure on the other side because of the risk on costs. There had been Part 36s on both sides. The parties were unable to meet because of the levels of emotion, but I did manage to get the lawyers to meet a couple of times, and that progressed around conversations around the merits and why provision should be made. But we moved from providing for a house and maintenance for the rest of her days and education to let's make a reasonable pot of money that could be put in a trust that could be managed for her. It ended up actually with a restoration of the relationship such that the grandmother would be able to see her future grandchild. So it was a really nice outcome.